Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so a lot of us have heard about manifestation. By the way, manifestation is the same thing as prayer. Okay, it's it's just a different word, and it implements or implies, I should say, a deeper level of prayer versus just praying and hoping. This is where you actually get into the prayer and you begin to visualize and imagine whatever it is that you want, and imagine having it as if you're associated into it right now. So I do a regular practice. I'm gonna spill my beans, spill my guts right now about what's been going on in my life to lead up to what I did this morning. So I want to preface this with, and I think I made a video recently about this, but when you go through healing, you begin to heal bits and pieces of a certain, how do I say this, subject that you're healing, or technically what we would call a part, or an energy healing we would call a charge. Okay, so it's not like you do one healing one time and you healed for the rest of your life about everything that you have. No, people tend to have a lot of different parts and charges, like a lifetime worth to heal. So in the beginning, especially the first 5+ years, it really does seem like, how to explain this? It seems like it's just one thing after another, which it should be. And if you are going through that, that's a really, really good thing, because it means you're healing a lot. Think of it like a puzzle where you have 1,000 pieces, let's say, okay? So you work on one piece, and here's the thing. You might go through healing and you go through the hard part of it, and you have anxiety or fear or shame or whatever, sadness for a week, maybe a month, maybe even longer, and all of a sudden you feel this tremendous release and a relief that comes with it. So you're like, wow, I finally healed that. Well, you might have, now watch this, you probably healed a part of that one single piece of the puzzle. So a lot of people think, I thought I healed the whole thing, and then it'll come back 3 months later or even a month later. You're like, I thought I healed this. Well, you healed what we would call a layer of it. The music will go down in about 25 seconds. So another way of looking at this is, this is what I've heard a lot during NLP trainings, is it's like an onion, and onions have layers to it until you get all the way to the core. So in energy healing, they call them charges, but it's a similar thing. And I've actually had an energy healer say the same thing. I thought we were to heal this. She goes, no, Mike, we just healed like the outside layer. Now you're going to deeper layers of this core issue. And here's the deal: is the deeper you go, the harder the clearings become. So the emotions can become much more intense for that week to a month, or even more, for that one layer to heal. And then you go to the next one, it gets deeper and deeper. But when you heal an entire piece of the puzzle, we'll call it, or the entire onion, every layer, it's like you cleared an entire room in a house that has hundreds of rooms. So now in this one area of your life, you're good, but then you move on to the next room, and now you start dealing with that. Okay, so that's the way healing works. So for the first year or two, it's kind of like this. Think of it: you're carrying a big backpack, like in the military. We used to carry like literally 90 pounds worth of equipment or more, and you'd have to ruck it out. In other words, hike it out up and down trails, up and over hills for anywhere from 5-7 miles up to 14-15 miles or more, depending. So it's exhausting. But imagine you clear a little bit. So you take maybe half an ounce out, and you clear another bit and another bit. Now you got a whole ounce out. Well, that doesn't really seem like much at first, but you keep doing this. Next thing you know, you cleared out half a pound, then 3/4 of a pound, then a pound, then 2 pounds, then 3, then 4 and 5, and all of a sudden you're kind of noticing, it's still heavy, but I've noticed a difference. And then you keep at it, so another 2 or 3 years, and next you've cleared another pound. So now you're like, okay, this is starting to feel better now, and I can deal with my issues better now, etc. And that's another thing. You begin to deal with your issues a lot better as well. And the more you clear, the more that energy from those different puzzles or parts or charges, it comes back into the core you, and now you get more power. So suddenly carrying the same weight isn't as hard because it's lighter, and now you have more of the power inside. Okay, so essentially, okay, how do I explain this part? Okay, so I live in California. We have this company called Comcast. This is our internet and our television company, essentially, and they also have phone lines now. And so they have these things called hubs. So there's one hub for every square mile, or maybe it's 2 square miles, I don't know, but it's this big kind of electrical thing where everyone gets connected to it. So all the signals go to it, and then it goes out to each individual home. So an energy healer said to me, she goes, Michael, because, okay, I was having an issue where I was kind of, it was like I was taking on other people's issues that were in my life, and I go, I'm sick and tired of it. She says, well, you're an empath, so you're kind of a hub. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And she was the one who explained this whole, the Comcast, where you get these big electrical things where all these signals go there and then go to each individual home. She goes, you're like that hub. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And I already kind of understood what she meant, but I was like, wait a minute, is she trying to say that I have to deal with their issues? And she goes, yeah. She goes, Michael, you're healing other people's stuff through your body. Now in the last video we talked about essentially why it's really hard for empaths, light workers, etc. to get into relationships, because people really love your aura, they love your energy, and they want to be around it, and then they get around it, and then what happens is they start to open up and their issues start coming up. And what happens is they start to argue and yell and fight, because unconsciously what they're really trying to do is they're trying to shut you down so they can shut down and not deal with their issues and just bury them deep and hold them down there. But the problem is you deal with your issues every moment of every single day, regardless. So all the cigarette smoking, the drinking coffee, all the distractions, television, finding friends that will go along with your bullshit lies, like, oh, I'm not like that, I'm blah, 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 blah. And they, oh yeah, you're like this, you're a freaking king of the world, when you're not. And it's essentially you not dealing with your own self-esteem or confidence levels or shame or whatever. So you have all these different ways and caveats of dealing with your issues without really dealing with them. Like you never heal them. And that's the problem with trying to shove them down, because they can never heal. But they keep rotating up and keep coming up one by one throughout every day, every week of every month of every year. Now here I am, an energy healer, and if I spend too much time with someone, it could be an hour like at a coffee shop, I will take on some of their issues and I will clear their issues and go through what they should have gone through. So on the one hand, when they come around you, they open up and they start to see their issues and the emotions, and they're very conscious of it, and they don't want to deal with it, so they yell and scream, or eventually they'll just leave you altogether. Now here's the deal, they'll make a storyline, oh, he this or she that, and they're a mean person, and it's not that at all. They're just like, it's like if they could really ground themselves and be consciously aware, like, they would really have to say, I don't like dealing with my issues, and therefore I ran. Which is fine, except all of these energetic issues can cause all kinds of problems, from emotional issues to cancer to health problems to everything. So the more you clear, the healthier you become. So a lot of people, when they meet me, they're like, man, you look really young for your age. What's the secret? And I tell them, they just kind of roll their eyes like, oh, okay, whatever, dude. And I say, energy healing. So I met a beautiful young lady, someone who, how am I going to say this? Someone that I deeply care about. I don't want to go so far as to say romantically or in love or anything like that, but it does feel very much like being in love with someone. What I've noticed over the years is when someone is, it's like I will be drawn to someone and that person will be drawn to me out of the clear blue sky. And I will have these overwhelming emotions for them and vice versa. And what it ends up turning out to be is this person has some serious issues that they have to get by. And also, usually, it's also issues of mind that will get triggered up. Something really, really deep from way back, something I completely forgot. And so it'll also combine an issue of mind. So something will get triggered, stimulated, and it'll start spinning out of control. And then I will go through that healing process. Now, a lot of this is like I'll lay down in bed or on a couch or somewhere, generally in bed on my side, and sometimes I'll kind of roll to the other side or on my back, but I generally get in a very still space, and I do the internal awareness techniques, the emotionally grounding techniques, and then I completely let go and allow my energy to open wide open and expand out. Because essentially what happens when an issue comes up, it's exactly like a zit where it's like a volcano, the top is not open, so the pressure underneath builds and builds and builds, and I was going through that, and it closed my heart, it closed my forehead. It kind of put me in a space of kind of like obliviousness where I wasn't really conscious and wide open like I normally am. And I don't like that. Once you find your freedom, you don't like to go back there. So then one thing I've learned, like, you have to ground yourself no matter how hard it is. It could take hours, days, even weeks to finally ground yourself, because it's kind of doing it in layers and opening up little by little. But it's exactly like a zit. Once you get to that space where you just completely allow yourself to be uptight, stressed, your brain spinning, you just let it go and let it do what it wants to do. And it's like kind of a zit. Like you clear the top of the volcano, we'll call it, and all of a sudden the stuff underneath can come out, and then it kind of flies out, and it becomes a big, huge relief, because that is the healing process. Now, as I was going through this in the very beginning, I just like, oh man, this sucks. It's like really, it was intense, kind of like this spinning thing right here, the sun and the planets and stuff. And it wasn't until the second day I was like, oh, this is her stuff. And I realized, oh, she's going through this too. Now, I didn't call her, didn't text her, we had no contact. Actually, it lasted for about 6 days if I counted right. Yeah, 6 days or 7 days. And once it completely cleared, then I allowed myself an entire day to completely rest up, because I was exhausted. And the very next day I called her, and she was extremely happy. She was doing so well. And I was like, okay. So let me say this. So one of the things I've already learned about her now I mentioned I'm an energy healer, but we've never done anything official. She goes, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of over her head. So she's not into the energy healing. She's not conscious of it. She's not, trained in it, nothing like that. But she would tell me, every now and then, like, I get really tired and I'll sleep for like 16 hours, like on my days off. She goes, all I do is just crash. Well, that's a form of healing. So when I go through my healing moments like that, there will be times when I will oversleep easily for 12 hours or 14 or 16 hours. Now, a lot of you guys are probably going through these things where all of a sudden you feel stressed, and it lasts day after day, and it feels like your whole world is this horrible event. Nothing's going to change. See, when you're in that storm, I'm going to call it the hurricane, everything looks bleak. You look all the way to the past, all the way to the future, and you're like, oh, but what you're doing is you're looking through this filter of this one moment in time where you're clearing something, and it's actually a really good thing because you're clearing it. But you look at life like, oh, my life is bleak, it's worthless, and it's really not. Because once you come out of the clearing, another 4 or 5 days later, maybe even a week or 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, it's like crystal clear, life is beautiful, the sun is great, life is wonderful. But when you're in that moment, it seems bleak, but it's only in that moment, and it will pass. So essentially, people like me are leading the way because we have healed so massively. Like, I've been doing it for 30 years, and I remember an energy healer decades ago said, Michael, you were born clearing. You've been clearing since you were an infant. And the way it verified is as we were going through clearings over the next couple months, years, even, etc. I was like, oh yeah, like whenever I go through clearing, like, oh, I went through this when I was a child, like over and over. She goes, Michael, you've been clearing since you were a child. And because you followed my channel for a long time, even if you only watch one video like this video, like it'll start kicking in the healing process, okay, the clearing process. So if you watched my long videos, or if you've seen 4, 5, 6, 10 videos, like it will kick in your healing process and it'll start it, and you'll go through maybe subtle levels of healing and clearing simply by being in this energy. So now here's what this video is about, or what it was originally, the intention is what I'm going to say right now. So that's kind of leading up to this. So essentially, this was it yesterday? No, it was the day before. So I was in bed, I was curled up, and I was, on my right side, and I bring my awareness inside. Now this is one of the internal awareness techniques. I'm not going to teach the whole thing, but I give you an idea of it. It's like I bring my awareness inside where the hurt and pain, and it was in my heart chakra and my solar plexus, and it was just this stinging energy. And so I brought my awareness inside, I grounded myself. And these are all techniques, by the way, which I'm not teaching you how in this video, but it's a process that I go through, and it's not exactly easy in the beginning. It may take a day or 2 or 3. Now this was probably the 5th day that I was doing this, because this was an intense emotion. And I finally got to the place of completely letting go, and my energy, it's like everything is tight, you're holding, it's like what I call the crystallization of the energy. It's like frozen solid. When I completely released myself, it released also and expanded all the way out. And I felt this energy flowing through me, like completely through my heart, my belly, and my solar plexus. And by the way, there's a lot of crying that goes on with this too. I mean, a lot. But it is a clearing of whatever this crystallization is, this concentration of this energy, to release it and to free it once again. So once you get through it, it's like that one piece of the puzzle is done, it's healed, and the energy begins to flow. And man, and here's the other thing, what's the word Tony Robbins uses? Your circle of influence expands, like your awareness and energy expands open. So if you're an energy healer, one of the things you learn is you bring your hands together, palms facing each other, and you try to find the energy. If you're too far in, it's like you're inside the energy ball. It's like a basketball, so you can't feel it, but you got to open up. If you're too far away, you can't feel it. But like you get on the edge of that ball of energy, and for some people, our hands are probably about, I don't know, 12 inches apart or something. And mine was always a lot bigger than that, like a lot bigger, like 2 feet or 2.5 feet or more. Now it's way out there, to I have to extend my arms way out there to feel it, okay? So the actual energy around me is expanded beyond my living room, my bedroom, everything, kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom, hallways. It's just way out there. And it's because I've been doing this for decades. Now, here's what happened. Now, you know how we talk about manifestation, prayer, etc., right? So one thing we hear, and until you have this experience, I had such a solid experience a couple of days ago. I was like, oh, this is what they mean. Like, it was so rock solid. Like, oh, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is what I'm gonna try to explain what it means when energy healers or coaches or teachers will say it's all about your energy. Your energy creates your reality. So while I was curled up in bed, and this was about the 5th day of doing this, healing this person's energy, expanding out, I had this amazing just like boom, release and let go, and it just expand out, and the energy was actually going from my core outwards like a light or a sun shining out. And all of a sudden I just felt this complete healing. The energy was flowing through me, and it's like it was just wide, like it's like the funnel or whatever is just wide open, and the energy is flowing through me. I thought, okay, this is good, it's healed, it's going through the final healing process, etc., etc. And I forgot what it was, if I was manifesting this person to call, or I don't remember exactly what it was. But then I had a moment. Now watch this, here's my point, watch this. I had a moment of doubt. The energy turned back inwards. It turned, instead of going outwards, it completely reversed 180 degrees all the way around me and started going inwards into me. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. And I felt the energy of doubt. And it's like almost like I saw the light turn inwards, and I thought, oh, so this is what happens when you have doubt. So the really cool thing is I had a really conscious moment and experience, and I just kind of paid attention. I allowed it to do that because I was so grounded. I knew I could turn it back around, no problem. And I wanted to be very visually conscious of this and physically, kinesthetically feeling this. And then what I did was I let go again, and it reversed out and it went outwards again. So this is why some people will make the sale and the other guy doesn't. They're selling the same car, the same product, the same amount, the same everything to people who have the same amount of money, same job. Why is it this guy made the sale and this guy didn't? It was his energy field. It shifted. Or why did this guy get the girl and this guy didn't? This guy's better looking, he's taller, he's in better shape, he's richer, he's got a nicer car, nicer home, better education. Why did this guy get the girl and this guy didn't? It doesn't make any sense. It's all about energy. When you allow your energy to open up, things come to you. Things are allowed to flow into your energy field, into your life. Now, this is an opinion. This is something I experienced myself over 2 decades ago when I was in my mid-20s, probably about 27 or maybe a little bit older. And I noticed there was this lady I was talking to, and I tried to get her to talk to me, and she just boom, cut me off. And then I remember this expanding open awareness thing, and I thought, I'm just going to allow it to flow, and boom, instantly, she goes, yeah, sure, you can have my number. And she gave me her number instantly. I was like, wow, like that was a trip. In fact, we started the date, and I mentioned this to her. She goes, you know what's really weird? She goes, I just went through a divorce, and I was like, no to everyone. I had the wallets up. I'm like, oh yeah, trust me, I noticed she had the Great Wall of China up. She goes, the minute I gave you my number and I walked away and got my car, I was like, what did I just do? She goes, it blew my mind that I actually gave you my number. Now, this goes along with parents. Why is it some parents can get the message across to the children and some don't? Why is it that some children just go along with things and some don't? So you think these people are blessed or lucky. No, they've just, for some reason, probably unconsciously, or they came into this life with this energy, is they learned how, or they unconsciously figured out how to do things in a way that allowed things to flow, literally. For example, when I was laying in bed and everything flowed, I had a moment of doubt and everything turned in. It was like, whoa. So it's when you have those moments, you become conscious of what energy actually is. Just like in my mid to late 20s, I had asked this lady out for like the 5th time or 100th time. And I actually never asked her out before. It was that I was just trying to say hello, and she just wouldn't budge. And then when I shifted my energy, she completely opened up to me. And the funny thing is, when she came out, she was completely closed. And she told me later, she goes, you know what's funny? She goes, I was determined not to talk to you again. So what ends up happening is their energy opens up along with yours. Now, we talk about manifestation, which I started in the beginning of this video, this is, again, well, how come some people seem to manifest things and some people don't? It's because they've opened up. They've got things to flow. One thing I would recommend right now is to make it a regular practice, at least 5 days a week, or anytime you get stressed, to lay down or sit down on a couch or lay on a couch or somewhere and curl up and bring your awareness inside and have an expanded awareness around the space where you feel tightness or where you feel stress or fear or shame or whatever, and allow it to feel the shame, the fear, whatever it is. Don't try to change it. Don't do that. Let it be. You're just there in a supportive, open, and expanded way, allowing it to be tight, stuck, locked, whatever it is. See, when you try to change it, it actually tightens it up. It puts more energy into it. It's like pushing a door closed and you're pushing it even harder. It's like, well, it won't open because you're pushing it closed. The minute you step back and let go, it opens up on its own. Now, this may take 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 2 weeks, maybe even longer on each piece. But once it opens up, you really have a sense, a feeling of this energy, like your body, just your muscles relax. It's like your eyes open up, your forehead opens up. You just feel really good. So the purpose of this video is really just to get you to have a deeper understanding of your energy literally creates all. Like literally. If you don't have what you want in your life, it's probably because you've locked your energy. It's like you've got the brakes on. Your heart chakra, your solar plexus chakra, whatever, your forehead chakra, they're closed. You have to open them up. You have to learn how to ground yourself, etc., etc. So the purpose of this video, as I've already said, is it really is clear, like how do you say, black and white, night and day. It really becomes crystal clear to where you're like, yeah, it's wherever my energy is at is what's going to happen in the moment. So number one, I want to say society as a whole, the entire planet, people are healing. They're on a lower level than where I'm at right now, but they are gradually, they're gradually slowly moving up, right? You know how you want to know? Go back and watch videos from the 80s or the 70s or the 60s or the 50s and notice how the energy seems so dim and dark. Notice how people seem to be like their energy is just slower. Like everything is kind of like concentrated and hard and dark, and it's just not. And as you move forward, the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, also like, whoa, people are starting to flow more. Things are a little bit more open. You can just see people, they're different. They interact differently. Without describing it more in depth, their energy is just more open and it flows and it's expanded. Now, is everyone conscious of it? I believe right now a lot of people that thought that all of this was hokey pokey, they're just kind of going, wait, what's going on here? Because they're beginning to be, they're slowly having conscious experiences of these shifts. We are at a time when even the majority of people who are, oh, I don't believe in this stuff, I'm an atheist, it's like they're fighting it. Like they are so fighting it, and they're just doing like, no, it's not real, no, I don't believe, it's like, well, I don't believe in Santa Claus, but I don't go around as a grown adult having a temper tantrum, I don't believe in Santa Claus, So why are you so intensely trying to convince us? Because you're not trying to convince us, you're trying to convince yourself. And you're hoping that if you can convince us, we'll just go along with it. So now we can all hold hands and sing Kumbaya in a room with the shades closed and the lights off, and act like this is reality when it's not actually reality. You're stuck and you're trying to be stuck. Pull the shades open the door, turn on the lights, and notice how bright it becomes. And then the healing process will begin. Now, there's a lot of pain and discomfort that comes with healing. It's not an easy task. And this is what those people have been trying to avoid. They drink all night. They go to work. They're workaholics. They just do drinking coffee beans, smoking, doing this, doing that, and watching TV constantly, just constantly, like they won't stop. It's because they're trying to avoid the pain. They're trying to stop the process. You can't stop the process. It is happening whether you like it or not. And here's the deal. For those of you that are holding back, trying to keep the door closed and turning off the lights and pulling the shades closed, you're the ones that are suffering the most. Because you're fighting it tooth and nail, and that's just dragging you along, kicking and screaming, and that's the worst part of the suffering. Let go. Open up. So the main purpose of this video is when I had that energy shift when I was laying down on my side, I became very, very, very consciously aware. My thoughts shifted that energy, and it was in my stomach area, and the solar plexus is where you get your power from. And with that moment of doubt, it completely shifted that, and that's when I became very aware. Call it conscious, aware, whatever big word works for you. I realized we literally manifest based on how we shift our awareness. And what I mean is, the moment I thought that's not going to work, boom, the energy shifted. That's what I'm saying. Your thoughts create and shift your energy field. That's all I'm saying. So you can manifest right now. Alright, that's it guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and if you want, as always, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.